Okay, so today you're going to start the first lesson of Unit 4, Direct Variation. And this is to the unit of applying linear relationships. Aaron works at a gym. You should be receiving a cover page for this as well. So this is going to be page 48 in your notes after page 47, which is the cover page. Aaron works at a gym and earns $6 for every new membership he sells. Complete the table of values and create a graph to represent the relationship between X, the number of new memberships, Y, the amount that Aaron earns. Is the situation above proportional? Well, if we know that he's earning $6 for every new membership, let's fill in the table. If he doesn't sell any memberships, he gets $0. But for one membership, he gets 6. For 2, he gets 12. For 5, he gets 30. 5 times 6 is 30, right? We plot these points on our graph, which is 0, 0, 1, 6, 2, 12, and then 5, 30, all the way over here. Okay. We graph our line. And the question here asks, is this situation proportional? Well, proportional relationships are is something that you guys learned last year in 7th grade. The answer is yes, this is proportional. Let's go back over what characteristics must a graph have for it to be proportional, or must a function have for it to be proportional. First, it has to go through the origin. Hopefully everybody already has that. The line graph, it has to go through the origin, which the origin is 0, 0. Okay. Next, it has to be a straight line. And for 3, the ratio of y over x must be constant. When you divide each individual, excluding the point where you have 0, 0, if you divide y into x, it has to be the same every single time. So let's say we're looking over here, right? You would, each individual point, there's my x, there's my y value. You would take the y value, 6, and divide it by the x value. And 6 divided by 1 is 6. Take the y value, 12, divided by 2, that is 6. Take the y value, 30, divided by the x, that is 6. So every time you get a 6. So the ratio of y over x is constant, okay? Direct variation exists when a relationship is proportional. Most of the time, we know when a relationship is proportional by these two things, okay? You can also say that the value of y varies directly with x. Now, this is the phrase that they're going to use all the time whenever you are dealing with this type of problem. Direct variation is defined by the equation y equals kx. This is similar to an equation that you guys have seen in the past, right? Y equals mx. So what do you notice about it? That k and m are similar. Similar meaning they're alike, but they're not exactly the same. Where the coefficient k is known as the constant of proportionality. If y is equal to kx, we can find the value of k by solving for k. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm going to come over here. Our equation is, or our formula is y is equal to kx. If we want to solve for k and get the k by itself, we would separate k and x by dividing, because k is multiplied by x. So we would get k is y over x. or k is y divided by x. And then that's where you'll see that connection there, okay? So for number 1, it says use Aaron's situation above to answer A through D. It says, what is the value of k and how do you know? Well, if we use the table, and you're going to have to write pretty small, they don't give you all the space in the world to do this part. We have points 0, 0, 1, 6, 2, 12, and 530. Okay, the only thing when you're trying to find the value of k, you don't use 0, 0. Don't use 0, 0, okay? So the ratio, to find the ratio, you would take y divided by x. So in this case, the very first ratio would be 6 divided by 1. 6 divided by 1 is 6. 12 divided by 2. The y value divided by the x value is 6. 30 divided by 5. Y divided by x is 6. And you get the same exact number every single time. That 6 represents your constant. What does constant mean? That it is the same all the time. That is your constant. And we're not going to do all of this every single time, so just bear with me. So our value of k is 6. Okay? Now they want you to write an equation to represent this. Well, we use y is equal to kx as our formula, and we plug that k equals 6 in. Our formula is y is equal to kx. We now know that k is 6, that our constant is 6, so we're going to take that 6 and plug it in. So when we write an equation, our equation is y is equal to 6x. Okay? One distinct feature, notice there is no y-intercept here. So that's how you know that it is going through the origin, because we can add 0 to the end of it. Okay? It says use that equation, use the equation that we have just found to find the amount that Aaron will earn for selling 13 new memberships. Okay? Well, we look at our table. If we're selling memberships, we are plugging in for X values. So they want us to plug 13 in for X. Okay, so I'm going to take my equation, y equals 6x, and replace X with the number 13. I get y is equal to 78. 78 what? $78. Use the same equation to find how many new memberships were sold if he earned $108. Well, we know that dollars is a y value. So this time, instead of plugging in for X, I'm going to plug in for Y. So 108 equals 6X. And we solve for X. We already know that 6 and X are multiplied, so we divide by 6. And we get X equals 18. It says how many new memberships? 18 memberships. Number 2. The value of y varies directly with x. If x is 4, then y is 36. Use this to answer A through C. It says first find k. Find the constant of proportionality. The formula to find k, we found up here. K is y over y divided by x. So we're going to use that information. K is y divided by x. And in this case, the y value that is given is 36. The x value that is given is 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Okay. Write an equation to represent that situation. They're asking us to write an equation using direct variation formula. We know that to use a direct variation formula, y equals kx, we need k. We found k over here, so, or in the first part. So our formula or our equation is y is equal to 9x. Now we use this equation to plug numbers in. It says find the value of x when y is 144. Well, using the equation that we just found, y is equal to 9x, I'm going to plug 144 for y and divide it by 9. You get x equals 16. Find the value of y when x is 25. Same equation, y is equal to 9x, but this time you're going to plug the 27 for x. And you get y equals 243. 9 times 27 is 243. Turn the page. Once again, if the value of y varies directly with x is 12, y is 13. Y is 3. Answer the questions. First, find k. To find k, you take y divided by x. Y is 3, x is 12. This gives us a fraction, but that fraction simplifies and it gives us 1/4. And since we're going to be doing a lot of plugging, I'm just going to change it to a decimal form. Write the equation. Well, we take this number and plug it into y equals kx. So our equation is y is equal to 0.25x. Okay. Find the value of x when y is 16. Plug the 16 for y. 16 equals 0.25x. So all you do is divide. When you divide, you get x equals 64. Find the value of y when x is 36. This time we're going to plug in for x. Y is equal to 0.25 times 36. When you multiply that out, you get y is 9. And it says, use your knowledge of direct variation to answer 4 through 8. Well, one of the words that's used to describe direct variation is the constant of proportionality. Think of that word, proportionality. You guys have heard the word proportion before. When you're thinking of a proportion, most students go straight to butterfly method. I don't like using the word butterfly, because I just know whenever you get to college, your teachers aren't going to ask you, solve this using the butterfly method. That's not a thing, okay? The correct term to solve a proportion is cross multiplication. Okay? Cross multiplication. You cross multiply to solve a proportion. So, whenever you are setting up a proportion, one way to know you're going to set up the proportion is when you see the phrase y varies directly with x. And it kind of in a way tells you how to set up your fraction. Y varies directly is your fraction with x. So y over x every single time. Okay, in this case we have and you always want to fill in your numbers in the order they're given to you. So the first number that's given is a y, put that y there. Second number x, put it there. And then the last number is an x value, you put it at the bottom. So in this case, we are looking for a missing y value. The reason I like proportions, because they're actually fairly simple to solve. You multiply the two numbers that are filled in diagonally, 74 times 4, that gives you 296, and divide by the remaining value, divide by the remaining number, divide by 20. 296 divided by 20 gives you 14.8. So our answer, y is equal to 14.8. That missing y value right here is 14.8. The relationship between x and y is proportional. So if y is 25, when x is 2, find the value of y. Once again, you're setting up a proportion. It says proportional. When you set up your proportion, it's y over x. You want to set two fractions equal to each other and fill in the numbers in the order they're given. The first number is a y value, put it on top where the y values go. Second number is an x value, put it on the bottom. Last number is a y value. That means this time we are looking for x. You cross multiply, let me change color. You cross multiply, and 125 times 2 is 250. Divide by the remaining value, divide by the last number, divide by 25, and that'll give you x is equal to 10. Okay. The cost of a smoothie at fruit mixers is proportional to the number of ounces ordered. Okay, well, cost is proportional to ounces. Cost is proportional to ounces. Always pay attention to what is written before the proportional word and what is written after the proportional word, or what is written before and after the phrase varies directly. Oh my goodness. My quotient marks. My quotation marks. Think of that fraction bar as your varies directly, okay? The first number set your two fractions equal to each other. The first number that's given is 16-ounce smoothie. Ounces go at the bottom. 336 is a cost. And then 20-ounce smoothie is the other number that they give us, so meaning we're looking for the cost. We cross multiply. When you cross multiply 336 times 20, I'm sorry, I do not have that written in my key. Let me multiply that real quick. 20 times 336. You get $67.20. Divide by the remaining value, divide by 16. And when I divide by 16, I get 4.2, meaning that my cost is $4.20 for a 20-ounce smoothie. Okay, number 7. You know that you're going to set up a proportion because of the phrase varies directly. Okay, find the time in seconds if a marble has rolled 56 centimeters. Now you can remember you cannot use 0, 0 when you're setting up a proportion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this very first point. X is my top row, Y is my bottom row. Okay. You always set up Y over X and set two fractions equal to each other. 7 is going to go on top because that is a Y value. 2 goes on the bottom because that is an X value. Now 56 centimeters. Centimeters is a Y value, so I'm going to put the 56 at the top of my fraction, meaning I'm looking for X. To solve, I cross multiply. 56 times 2 is 112. And you divide by the remaining value, divide by 7. And 112 divided by 7 is 16. So that tells us that the time is 16 seconds. Last problem, number 8. The relationship can be represented by y is equal to 0.12x. Well, we know that the equation for direct variation is y is equal to kx. So basically, we're looking to see or confirm that 0.12 is k. To find k, we take y and divide x. Okay. Distance is your y value. X is your time in seconds. Distance is 34. Put that at the top of the fraction in 4 seconds. And we get 8.5. 8.5. So we can say that this first statement is false because the equation should be 8.5x. So they may have gotten 0.12 by dividing it backwards, or dividing 4 into 34 instead. After 6 seconds, the Roadrunner would travel 51 meters. Well, we can check this by plugging both numbers in. Okay, so I'm going to use this equation. Seconds is x, meters is y. Y equals kx. Or I'm going to use the one that I just got, 8.5x. So I'm going to plug in 51, 8.5 times 6, and solve. 8.5 times 6 gives you 51. And since 51 is equal to 51, that is a true statement. So this one is true. A Roadrunner traveled. If a Roadrunner traveled 170 centimeters, the time passed was 30 seconds. Well, meters is a y value, seconds is an x value, okay? When we plug this in, my y value, 170 equals 8.5 times 30. 8.5 times 30 gives me 255. This is false. This is not a true statement. Since this one is false, we need to figure out what value is true. So what I'm going to do is only plug in 170 meters. So 170 and solve for x, 8.5x. To do that, I just divide by 8.5, and you get x equals 20. So if a Roadrunner travels 170 meters, the time passed will not be 30 seconds. It will be 20 seconds. Okay. All right. Always remember, if you have any questions, any additional questions, come see me in the morning.